So I want to jump right in. Caitlin knows a ton about cars. Melissa, did you know anything about cars going into this, or you got a crash course?
Le- I got a crash course. I know less zero. Truly, like it was my biggest blind spot, I think, out of any character I've ever played ever. It's like the most I've had to educate myself on a specific topic. I do not even have my driver's license. So it was a true crash course. I had to learn a lot, but we landed in Toronto like 2.5-ish weeks before we started shooting, and they had me work with the mechanics that work for the show every day. So like down to the most specific things in the world, like what types of bolts go where and what they're called, and like what they're called, but also like what mechanics call them, and just like a lot. Like it was very specific stuff. And then Michael was working on a car in his garage in Toronto while we were shooting. So it was a combination of the mechanics and Michael sort of giving me a crash course. And I think that hopefully I do it justice on screen.
Yeah, you sound convincing to me. You guys, as a family unit, what I really appreciated off rip is that this wasn't a situation like a single mom struggling and, like the tropes you fall in. You guys literally are making a move just to better your life and mom get closer to her roots. I really loved that. What did you guys do on set to have that chemistry as a family? As a strong unit family, I should say.
I think it came really naturally. We didn't really do any like bonding exercises or anything like that. Like we just Michael, Natalie and I met and immediately like we fell into those roles very naturally. Yeah, it just felt like we'd known each other forever. So it's I think casting really did a great job because it really did immediately feel like a family, and a lot of the sort of on-screen dynamics felt similar in real life.
Yeah, it helped for me that they cast two amazing young adults and actors as my children. Definitely got my ticks of approval. And yeah, I think it really speaks to Johnny's vision and the casting that we were able to gel so seamlessly with one another. And it felt, I mean, most of my scenes are with them, but it did feel like the highlight of my experience making the show is these moments that I got to spend with the kids on and off set.
I really like that. So actually, Natalie, I love when you and Ryan are in scenes together. It's just really cool. Samantha and Logan, they're like the cool adults in the series. Do you think that's because of their past that they're more understanding? For example, the level of hardships that your character and Logan had to go through growing up. Almost like nowadays, how we say like our parents went through it harder than we did and we don't quite understand. Um, Versus like what the kids are going through. Example, Zach wants to race and is going to Ray, not understanding Ray's a bad guy. He's just like, oh, he said he's going to teach me, right? Like very naive. And you're like, okay, listen, I love you, but we gotta reel this back in. Do you think it's because of the life experiences you guys had?
Yeah, I think, there's this unspoken bond between Samantha and Logan from the very beginning, in that they shared this traumatic experience of losing Christian from a young age. And, Logan's been the only father figure in the kid's life. And they're also unlike, I know all parents were once kids, at some point, and they all like to say, I used to do that, or I used to be fun. But in this scenario, in this case, these guys were like exceptionally cool as young people, and they've remained exceptionally cool as parents and adults. And so I think that also was one of the appeals for me of playing this character. Is she wasn't like she definitely wasn't like my mom. And same with Logan, he wasn't like any father figure that I had seen. And so being able to, like you said, break through the typical cliches and tropes of like what parents are like, I think that I felt exciting, and I'm glad that it resonated with you.
Do you think that are we gonna see more of you dating or your character dating and kind of navigating that back in town? Because you're kind of the hot commodity right now.
You think?
I
Um,
feel like I'm seeing side eyes when like the hot mom back in town.
um, Listen, let's just hope for a season two. If they want to give me a romance storyline, I will not say no.
I love that. Was on set because obviously lots of cars. This is like Fast and the Furious Junior. what were some of like the cool moments on set when you guys came and you saw like millions of dollars worth of cars are sitting around?
I think honestly, Michael is such a like true like nerd about cars that like I would, to me, they were all just like really pretty and shiny. Like it looked like giant Hot Wheels. And he'd be like, oh, like this is a Japanese exclusive from like '05. And like he would sort of give me the rundown. And I think his explanations made me like appreciate like how insane they were. Because to me, I truly was just like, oh my God, a bunch of pretty cars all the time. Um, so it truly was like Michael nerding out, which made me be like, holy shit, like this is really cool.
There was one car, which is actually Samantha's car, that was very similar. It was like, and I know nothing about cars. It was like RX-7 or RX-8, but it was similar to the car that my character drove in Fast and Furious. And when I told, and I only know that because all the car fans for 20 years have been like, yeah, RX-7, RX-8. It just kind of burned a hole in my consciousness because I couldn't even tell you what the car looked like. But when I learned that, I was like, Johnny, this is such a like a cute little twist and tie
Mhm.
for all the OG Fast and Furious fans. And he was like, "Oh, is this the car you drove?" I had no idea. So it just turned out to be this like cute little coincidence.
I really hope that you guys use that on social for promo because that's actually a real you're already playing a really cool parent and I think my parents are really cool. So when I saw like example in the hospital when you were showing off the scar and he's like don't do it nice. I thought that was really cool. So I really hope the Fast and the Furious fans come for you but also like what this story is saying for a whole new generation. So thank you guys so much.
AJ, appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Well, nice to talk to y'all and anyone watching, you guys can see Motorheads on May 20th on Amazon Prime Video.